Hello.
For some reason, I just didn't see you pull in, I guess.
Oh, I pulled in before you. I was really early today. Yeah. I was here for a while. Oh, there's Nisha. Oh, you. Oh, there's Lynette. Nisha. And now we have, oh yeah. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. We match.
Perfect. You got the memo. Mine's
Yeah.
actually orange, but the thing here, the light makes it look red, but it's actually orange. It's like a reddish orange.
Yeah, cameras. Yeah.
Do weird stuff. Yeah. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm a little tired today, but I was at a wrestling event over the weekend.
Oh my God. Were you in San Jose?
Yeah.
I think you and Arian were at the same wrestling
Wait, Arian, were you at Battle of the Valley?
I was.
She was.
What the heck? That's so cool, Arian.
Yeah.
Where were you sitting?
She's getting ready. Hold on. She'll sign up and sign on in a second. Then you guys can
We were
chat.
kind of like
That is so fun.
up on the top, but crazy thing too was one of the girls running the merch table is from where I'm from.
No.
Straight up. Like I totally forgot that she was like involved in like the indie wrestling ring. And yeah, she was there too. I was just like, wait a second.
That's crazy.
This is awesome. Arian, you're so cool.
I know, you seem really cool too, Nisha. We should try to meet up sometime if you're comfortable with that.
I'm super comfortable with that.
Cool.
Yay.
Okay, where is the
Oh, nice, Sherry. Okay. So how was the match? How was the?
It was actually really
Was
cool.
it good? Awesome. I've never seen one, so this sounds really fun.
It was, but when one of the wrestlers got injured and when he went down,
Hard.
You have to turn your volume off.
Let's see.
Nancy. Two, three, four. One more board member. Hello. Oh, Nancy, do you have new glasses? Those look different. I don't recognize them.
You're the first person who's noticed that.
Aw.
Good for you. I'll be right back. I have to get my lunch.
Of course. This ice is so cold.
Oh no.
Oh, yo. I did not expect it to be. That's cold. Okay.
Okay,
Yay.
I'm back.
Very nice. What's for lunch for you?
Let's see. It's an open-faced tuna fish sandwich with Swiss cheese melted on top.
All the things I can
So,
have. Sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
if you like tuna fish, it's appealing, but otherwise not so much. Oh, I have a phone call I really should take. I'll be back.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Well, my sister-in-law, she is like the queen baker. So for this bake sale thing, I was just like, Val, help.
Oh, Louise, signing in. Yes. Who knows? We might be the only two here.
Yeah.
Well, Nancy sometimes shows up a little later, so. So I want to hear more about this wrestling match. Come on.
Yeah, no, it was really cool.
So Nisha, where were you sitting? Were you sitting near where Arian was sitting?
So I was on the balcony on the, if you're facing like the ring and the ramp after you walk in, I was on the left.
I was too.
Oh my God, you guys.
What the heck?
Oh my God, you guys.
How did we not see each other?
I know.
Did you? I was trying to start the daddy chant for Chris Dickinson. His
Really?
moniker is daddy for full like disclaimer. That's why I was chanting that. That was me if you heard that.
Okay, that's hilarious. We had like some little kid behind us that was like giving the refs a hard time the entire time. It was hilarious.
Yeah, we were super close to that person. We heard them constantly. Oh, that is so funny.
That's bizarre. Oh, there's a V. Okay, we definitely
Oh
have.
my gosh.
I am thrilled. How are you, Louise?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Okay, I think we're waiting for Nancy at this point who took a phone call. Hi, Aviv.
Hello.
And yeah, maybe Nancy or Sonia will come in, but I don't know. So.
Hillary says she's just eating, so camera's off.
Oh, yeah. We'll eat afterwards.
Yeah.
So if you hear funny lion growling noises, that is my stomach, but it's okay. Oh. Last board meeting of the year.
Wow, it's already ending, huh? The
I
year.
know. Well, for this, I know. Only what, 8 more weeks or something? A little.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to hear. Oh my.
But I joined this super intense workout program, and so I have like 4 more weeks to go. So I'm definitely counting. So.
This is when all the gatherings start, right? Thanksgiving, holiday, and I've got a few test kits ready to go at my house just in case. Every year we always have these close calls, you know, so hopefully there won't be any surges this year, but it's kind of a mixed blessing, you know, with the get-together. So
Someone just signed on with a phone, but I'm not sure who that is.
Okay, the absent board president has returned.
I think Kelly just joined us via phone. She's traveling from JFK. So
So Julia, just let me know when you would like me to call this meeting to order.
I think we're all ready to go.
All right, well then let's call this meeting to order at 12:04.
And what I got too? Okay.
Yeah, and shall we begin with the minutes?
You want me to pull it up on the screen and share the screen?
Sure, that'd be fine.
Here, share screen, where are we? Is it popping up? Not yet? Okay, it'll always take a second.
At least not for me. There it goes.
Aha, good. Hope everyone can see. I'm gonna have to make it smaller. Okay. Am I ready to move forward?
I'm just looking at it my own version, so other people can let us know if they want,
Yeah, I have mine here too, so.
Oh, okay. Then I'll just.
I'm
move.
looking. Yeah, I'm looking at my own version.
Oh, that's you, Andrea. Okay, hi.
Yeah, that's me. I was having problems unmuting myself, but I'm in a car, not driving. So I've got
Okay.
thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, I don't want to share.
Okay.
I can move.
Julia?
Yes.
I have a question. So on the top for president, you have Sherry as on-site and virtually? Am I reading that right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, I need to take that out. Thank you. I will make that change. I think, Sherry, you were here in person, right?
Last meeting I was in virtual. Oh, I did the virtual.
I am just realizing something. I must have attached the wrong minutes. As I'm looking at this, it says September, or did I not change?
Right. It does say
I'm so
September
sorry.
20.
Goodness gracious. Let me
But the
start.
content is correct, isn't it? Because it has the
Oh,
leap
then I
and
didn't
everything,
change-
so I think.
Okay, then I
Yeah,
need to
you
change.
didn't change the date.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, Anisha, were you trying to move to accept the minutes?
Yeah, I can move to accept them.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? I believe the minutes have been accepted with that one change about the date. And
Two changes,
Aviv, I always think we're going to have a treasurer's report, but we never do. But now, according to the agenda today,
It looks like we're having one. Yeah, so we just received the tax return, as a matter of fact, this last Friday. So maybe we can start with the return.
Mhm. Do you want me to pull that up, Aviv?
Yeah, do you mind, Julia? Maybe
No
we could just
problem.
take a quick look-see at the return.
Yeah,
What page is that?
it's page 11.
Page 11, okay.
It's the first page of the 990.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Oh, just a water, please. Thank you.
So it'll take a second. It should pop up in a second. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so this wasn't our best year, okay? Given the pandemic and all. The page one is kind of nice because it's a lead sheet. It's a summary of basically just the fundamentals, so you can see on one page what we're looking at. And right off the bat, if there's a little comparative there. You can see the prior year versus the current year being 2020, right? This was a 2020 tax return that we're filing. So so the current year is 2020 according to this return, and the prior year is 2019. Now 2019 was obviously a good year. It was pre-pandemic, the good old days, right? So, but you can see our contributions drastically decreased. There's no two ways about it. There's no other way to say it. We're down, right? And in fact, we were our gross receipts were down so much because every year we assume we're going to pay $75 when we file our it's called an RRF1. We file it every year with the Attorney General's office. And anytime your gross receipts are between 250,000 and $1 million, we generally fall in that category. It's a $75 fee. we just assume we're gonna pay the $75. Julia already had the checks made up and everything. And lo and behold, when we got the draft, we realized, ooh, we're actually under $250 this year. So our fee dropped down to $50 because we're in a entirely different tax bracket. Now, again, this could be an isolated deal. In fact, if you look at our year-to-date financials, which we'll get to next, our income actually went up.
Do you want me to move there? Aviv?
Our receipts. Oh, this is when we get to our financials for 2021. But for now, we're just looking at the return. But
Return. Okay.
so receipts here on the 990.
Yep.
Where did the 990 go? We lost the 990.
There you go.
990. Okay. Julia, can we scroll down just a tad just to see the second part? Yeah, perfect. So our receipts are on the top, and then at the bottom we have our expenses. Okay, and our expenses for 2020 also went up. So our gross receipts went down, our expenses went up, and the reason our expenses went up on this return, just FYI, is it's really just a timing issue. If you recall, we approved the bookmobile, right? And then the pandemic hit, and production was slowed down. So we pushed back the bookmobile a couple of times. So it ended up in this 2020 tax year. And I think that was, what is it, 66,000 and another 110, whatever that is, 176,000. That hit the 2020 year, even though, it was something that we committed to probably, I don't know, it was 2019 or 2018. It just took a while to materialize. And then we also had the self-checkout, which may have gotten pushed back, and actually it did get pushed back. Again, that was about 57,000. So all told, we have, again, it's a timing issue, but we have that about $238,000 of expenses, which theoretically should have hit the 2019, but due to the pandemic and all the delays and everything, it was like the perfect storm. So our receipts were down because of the pandemic, but our expenses were up because of all these deferrals and everything else. So you see this humongous loss, right? But don't panic. It's $476,000 loss, right? If you look on page line item 19, revenue less expenses. There, it's a big. It's a big loss, and which is why we have reserves, right? That's why we have reserves. But keep in mind that these losses, our reserves take a hit. Every time we have these kind of negative, let's call it cash flow or net losses, that's coming out of our reserves. But again, that was a perfect storm year. Expenses were high, receipts were low. Okay, so just wanted to mention that on the return. So the return's going out today. The return's going out today, and in fact, we have. I'm not sure where the financials are, Julia, at this point, but usually the financials, kind of follow the same time frame. So hopefully they're getting ready to give us the financials, because it would be.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you mean. I was thinking you meant the financials.
No, I meant the audited. Excuse me. So I'm sorry. Let me be clear. So Hayashi's given us the 990 return. It's due today. Yeah, no time to spare, right? It's due today. Julia's got check in hand, so we're gonna get the checks, send all this out today. It would also be good to get our audited financials soon, because for grants, etc. And I'm assuming they'll get us that, because usually with the return, the financials, they kind of go hand in hand. So hopefully that'll follow in short order. And the reason it's helpful is because on the financials, Hayashi goes through it and they break out all the various categories, and we can see our reserve accounts that we really need to see, and then they break out restricted and unrestricted. So it would be helpful when we have our budget meeting, which is probably going to come up in December, it would be helpful to have the financials from 2020, because we're going to use that as part of our, starting point and add and adjust and all this other stuff. So just thought I'd mention that. And we also, I believe we're getting ready to send out a RFP, request for proposal. I think that's what it stands for next year. It's just prudent every once in a while to shop around for audit services and tax services and all of that. So call it due diligence, whatever. We're just shopping around. So we're getting ready to send that out. We received a lot of pointers, suggestions from our in-charge audit maven here. She's very good. She's an audit queen here. So she gave us some really good suggestions how to go about it. So we're getting ready to send out, basically just a request. We'll see what's out there, and we'll get some feedback from local CPA firms, and maybe even not so local, maybe San Jose. We're going to go outside of our comfort zone a little bit and see what's out there. So that's tax return / audited financial statements, I guess.
Did you want to look at our financials? These go for January through August of 2021.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Now we're going to hit this pretty hard when we do our budget meeting, which is good. And I think our budget meeting, our budget this year will be even more important, just because we're still not quite out of the pandemic, right? Things are still a little uncertain. You saw what happened in 2020. We got hit, we got clobbered. But I think we're coming around the bend here. We're coming out of it, because if you look at these numbers, and now these numbers have not been verified, Julia, maybe you and I can sit down and make sure we don't have any misclassifications or anything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, if numbers are too good to be true, sometimes they are, but the numbers look good. Now, when we did our budget last year, projecting, right? So when we sat down, I remember it was early January, late December. We were putting our budgets. We were trying to project what our receipts would look like, and I believe, I still have some notes all over the place here, but when we did this, we were estimating. Now, initially, when we did this, our initial pass, we said about 200,000 gross receipts. In other words, unrestricted income and restricted income, and I'm lumping it all together. But then after a dose of reality, I think we went back and did some cutting and trimming when we did our budgets for 2021, and we were projecting, here it is. So we started with 84, we brought that down to 57,000, and then we looked at our unrestricted. Anyway, when the smoke clears, we may have come up with only $140,000, $150,000 of receipts. The good news is that we were very, very conservative, and according to these numbers, we've exceeded our expectations. Okay, so when we look at actual, because now those were just make-believe numbers, right? We're estimating, we were projecting what 2021 would look like. Now we have a better sense. This is January through August, right? So we're well into the 2021 year. You can annualize also. But if you look at, Julie, can we scroll up to the just where it says total income for the year? So that right there.
Yeah,
So total income, right? So you see what says total 5,000. If you scroll down just a tad. Sorry, I don't know how to.
Am I right here? I got it.
Way we could go just. Yeah, if you go just scroll just about like 3 inches, or perfect. Okay. So there you have it. So if you look at right before you get to expenses, you see where it says total income. That looks pretty good for January through August. If that's an accurate, we'll have to verify the veracity, accuracy of all this, all these numbers. But it says 341,000 gross, okay, 341. We were projecting, when we did our budget, we were projecting a little over 200 because we were, and then we even dropped it down even further. So that's a good number. Okay, if that's accurate. Now we're so Jim, maybe we can just kind of maybe later pick it apart, make sure we're not double counting anything, or but that's a good number. That's we'll take it. So that's good performance. And if you look at the year before, it's pretty dismal, right? So if you look at, so here is the 341,149 that you see there, right? Right next to it is the prior year for that same time frame, 41,284. You see that? So that's, and we know 2020 was a bad year. Okay, so yeah, so that's what was reported on the 2020 tax return. And of course, this is only from January to August, right? So it doesn't include a full year, and we're comparing apples to apples. So both 2020, 21, 2020. Anyway, so 2021 is shaping up to be a decent, according to this, maybe a not so bad year, and maybe we can build up a little reserve, because right now our reserves have been taking a hit because of last year. Which is all the more reason we need to be very vigilant and careful when we do our budgets. And I know we've had talks about the, we're trying to get our investment subcommittee off the ground here. And I think that's a great idea. And yes, investing, looking at our investments and making sure we get a good return on our investment and monitoring the balance and all of that is important. But what's also important is to make sure that we have liquidity. So I think one of the roles maybe for our investment committee or finance committee is, as we're getting ready to turn over some of these funds to the library, as requests come in, and now we're doing it on a quarterly basis, to meet the core program requirements. We just want to make sure that, we have the, if we have this stuff invested in Tesla or whatever, we may not be able to turn this around fast enough and convert it to cash. So we want to make sure to ladder our investments so that every quarter we can release enough to meet the requirements of the library. So that may be one of the roles for our investment / finance group, is to ladder maturity dates or the investments so we have enough on hand to tap into as needed. Okay, so that's just something I should mention, because our reserves are, even though our reserves, we took a hit last year, but who knows, maybe this year we'll be up again, maybe not. But that's something we're going to have to look at when we look at our budgets going forward. Is there anything else? No, I think that's it for now. Are there any questions?
Aviv, I had a question. You were mentioning that we should probably have a budget meeting in December, and then you were also talking about the investment and finance committee. And I wonder if, in practical terms, those aren't the same people. I'm asking, are those the same people?
It would make sense that those would be the same people, one and the same, because our finance committee. And maybe, honestly, we're spread thin. We don't have enough subcommittees, Right. It would be great if we had a huge pool to draw from. We can have a subcommittee for investments and a subcommittee for finance, but being how things are, we may want to just combine finance and investment and do that all together. So definitely, and we'll probably have a lot of finance people, I'm assuming, on that subcommittee. So yes, I don't think we have enough to go around to pick apart different subcommittees, and maybe in fact we could just lump it all together, maybe in one meeting. I don't know how often we meet, and one fell swoop we could do like whatever the topics are and address all the topics. And yeah, I think it's important that we have our finance group meet around the same time that we put the budgets together, just because they sort of go together now. Once we set the budgets, then the question is, okay, how do we go about satisfying this budget? You know, how do we have enough liquid funds? You know, when so a lot of these, you know, hard-hitting questions are all kind of related.
Yeah, and you got exactly at the point that I was thinking about, if and even wondering if in December, when we meet for the budget, that we could also talk about investments and the need for liquidity and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
All right. Any other questions for Aviv? Okay, thanks, Aviv. Very, very enlightening and more upbeat than I had hoped. So that's great.
I have a question that I don't know if it's an Aviv or a Julia question, but when would you like the 2022 requests from the libraries? Would that be January or February? Do you want to have your budget meeting first and give us a sense of what we're looking at? Do you want us, and we could do what we did last time, which is bring you a ladder of requests to say to make it happen, it's this. If there's more money, it's that. I just, and you don't have to answer right here in the meeting, but maybe Julia, you can give me some direction and I can start working on the 2022 requests accordingly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it might have to be a little bit of like back and forth as we look at things with the budget. I obviously want to make sure that there's clear communication with the libraries as well, so that you know what's happening and where this is going and what we're hoping to do. So I'm not.
That's fine. We're in the middle of our fiscal year, so you've already approved through the middle of our fiscal year. So it's not as if we have to grind to a halt if we end up getting you the official requests in March or April. I think summer reading, the biggest thing is starting to book performers, but if we're talking round numbers and we look at details even in March or April, we could totally work with that.
Hillary, I'm just throwing this out there. How soon or how realistic would it be? Could we get something in the end of December, or would it be like a January thing?
You could get, if I push them, you could get it at the end of December.
Okay.
The county, we all take a week off between Christmas and New Year's. Nobody's working. So, but I could get something I could tell the managers to have draft requests to you by a date in December, knowing we might have some cleanup time before presentation in January. We could do that.
Yeah, just the sooner the better, just because if we put the budgets together, because you're right. I mean, they do go together. So, and I don't know if, putting budgets together sometimes may put the cart before the horse, because sometimes our budgets are a function of what you guys need, right? So they do interrelate. So if we had a sense, right now we're just going to base it on the year before, assuming that but it may not be, once you guys have your numbers together, it may not be loosely based on the year before. But for now, when we put our budgets, we're just going to look to last year until we have more accurate figures.
I know last year we presented less, and then you graciously said, we're going to give you what we gave you the year before. We're just taking it from reserves. So, but that was back when we had no idea when you were going to be able to have a Words and Wine again. We didn't know how MC get, so we can present to you. How about I ask for rough numbers, and you'll forgive typos and lack of details, but basically like summer reading is about this much for these big categories of things. And then you can say, we don't have that much liquidity, or we're in the ballpark, let's finish it, or whatever you guys, because I know you also said when we were talking, you said, we can do this, we're taking from reserves. It could be that we have to do a 2-part and say, how does Words of Wine go? Or, whatever. So, but I'll get you guys by, can I say by December 10th?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to the managers and we'll get you at least some rough round numbers. But by December 10th. And then, as always, with more, we can do more, but that way you'll at least know to buy critical software, to do the basics of things, it's this amount of money. And then we can always scale up or down.
That would be really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Aviv? Well, then let's move on to the director's report, Julia.
Okay. Here we go. So it's been very busy, to be honest. So the Monterey Peninsula Foundation finally got back to me. They have this new person who was running the department, and they used to be 3, but now she's down to 1 at this point and starting to scale up and hopefully hiring more. So there's the delay. Already kind of paved the way to hopefully request operating support, which is the favorite thing that we like to ask for because that's unrestricted funds. So working on that. I'm sure you heard that we received the grant from Sunlight Giving Foundation for the second phase of San Lucas landscaping. So that's $75,000 that should be hitting the bank account soon. I'm working with their folks to make sure that the transfer goes correctly. And we got $20,000 from the Nancy Buck Ransom Foundation, also in general operating support. So just at the right time here. And you'll get a separate report from Ariane, but working with her has been amazing. And she's been doing so much work, as some of you probably have seen, in terms of setting up this whole board orientation folder binder. There's going to be a little video. There's this, it's really exciting stuff. I have a little bit of a drama right now with the website. I wanted to let you know. So after Nisha told me that the form didn't look right, the giving form, I thought, oh, I'll just go in there and fix it. So there's a German term for that, which is verschlimmbessern. You have the intention of making it better, but you actually made it worse. I locked myself out of the website trying to update different things. I have a techie friend that actually I just happened to see right before this meeting. So he's going to help me get back in there, and I promise I'll get it fixed by the end of this week. So that's been a little
If
bit.
you need any consolation, I think a lot of people wait till December anyway for MC Gives.
Yeah, well, luckily that's, you know, we will tell people to make a donation through MC Gives because we do get the matching through that, but that's not through our website. But either way, we need to make sure that we have the capability set up at any point in time, 24/7, whenever people feel struck by the mood to give, that they can give, right? So
What is the German expression again for oh shoot or oh?
Verschlimmbessern. Let me type it
Wow.
in. Here we go, long word. Verschlimm.
I think we're all a little more familiar with Aviv's version.
Yeah. So it's in the chat if you ever want to use it.
I'm keeping that. That's for sure. That word comes up regularly for me.
It was one of those where I literally thought, I'll just get this done really fast, 10 minutes. And yeah, 10 minutes later, I had quite a problem on my hands. So anyway, moving on. Cowboy Poetry, there was an actual meeting this last month, and they are planning on holding the event indoors at the Fox Theater, same way as always. And so I talked them into having the winners, the youth winners of the Cowboy Poetry contest, being able to submit a video for sure, no matter how the health conditions are looking. And so these videos will be played. This also opens up the possibility for Hillary to basically do a video introducing these other videos and not having to show up in person and not having to worry about making sure that she meets the masking distance requirements that the county puts on her. And yet this event is a little bit more lax about this. So I am sacrificing myself to go there. So, but if anyone else wants to follow, you're welcome to, but you don't have to. I was able to find a nice way to, make us all happen without you having to show up. So.
Neatly done, Julia.
Thank you. And then I had an exciting planned giving update. I think Hillary will be especially excited about this one. I received a nice thick envelope in the mail from an attorney, and in it were the bequest documents from a woman by the name of, was it Amra Robbins, I want to say, who recently passed away. And in her will, she had set aside $50,000 for the Carmel Valley branch. So it is specific to Carmel Valley. I've just had so much to do. I haven't really dealt with it any further other than receiving it and letting you know about it right now. But, you know, I'll have to make sure that I get in touch with the Carmel Valley branch. I don't know if it would make sense to get in touch.
Oh, we got the same envelope.
Oh, good.
So
Okay, so
we got it.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, at my initial read, it looks like clean. Sometimes you open them up and read the details, and it's, if you do these 58 other things, then you get 50. This one seemed really clean. The branch actually mentioned it to the friends. I had a conversation with the friends, and I said, you know, my experience on the receiving end as libraries, where you occasionally get these packets in the mail that somebody left you some money, is don't count your chickens. Don't assume it's anything till there's a check in your hand that's made out correctly. Because I've also had checks arrive and it's like, yay, it's a big check, completely not made out right. I don't know that I can cash it. Or the estate gets probated and what's left is nowhere near what was it, you know. So I basically just told everyone, chill down. You know, when there is a check in somebody's hands, you get excited.
Don't hit the buy button yet. You wait.
Basically, like don't start pricing new furniture. Like, chill down. So yeah,
I mean, and amount, you might actually consider, you know, investing some of it too to have it grow.
Well, that's what they said. Can we invest it? And I said, chill down, because it also, one of the things we're going to have to watch, since it said Monterey County Free Libraries, but the foundation was on the recipient list. How is the check going to be made out? So if you get a check and it's made out properly to the foundation for Monterey County Free Libraries, yay. I've had checks made out till they're like, well, which organization are you giving the money to? So we shall see, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they got the address of the library wrong, but I feel like we have good legs to stand on that nobody else on Carmel Valley Road can reasonably say they meant me. You know, it's pretty crystal clear. And the mail in Carmel Valley is such that even though the address was wrong, the post office knew exactly where to bring the envelope. We hope that is the same for any check, should they not mail it to you guys. So
I'm not going to go into detail about the audit. Aviv has already done a really good job sharing with us what's up with the audit. And then we had a lovely surprise. Nancy and I got to actually have a little chat with Ron. And I invited him to bomb this meeting today, but he's unable to do so. He has another therapy session today. And so he's not going to be able to join, but we were able to talk to him for, I want to say 45 minutes. He just kind of shared with us how he now, whenever he goes outside, because he's very immunocompromised, he has to wear the special helmet. I have this visual of Star Wars for some reason with these breathing apparatus machines. And he insisted.
Not like Darth Vader. No,
yes.
not like Darth Vader.
Not the evil kind, no. But he insisted that I put him back on all of the foundation communication. So he's now receiving all the stuff that you is again. And if he can participate and feels up to it, he will. But we also know that it will be quite a while until he would be possibly coming back. So I think he said 2023 at the earliest.
Yeah, he's anticipating, 2022 is a year of recuperation, it sounds like.
But I did put in my report, I put his contact email. I think he said he reads every email. He is totally up to date on his inbox at this point. So I kind of get the sense that he wants to hear from everyone. He was definitely asking about all the board members, how everyone is doing. So if you feel up to it, to just maybe drop him a line here and there. I try to do a monthly update just to him so that he is sort of, kept in the loop. Yeah, just wanted to share that with you. I think as he's doing as well as he can, given the circumstances.
I mean, we seem to be functioning just fine. I don't even know if we need to do anything, but should we have like an interim vice president or something like that? If he's not going to be back until 2023 or 2022?
We should.
Now, won't we be doing a slate of officers for 2022? Right?
That's right. We need to do the slate. When
Yeah.
it's in December?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, Nisha, I wonder how you would feel if we just kind of talk that over with him and see what his druthers are for the 2022 slate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just occurred to me, like we seem to be functioning totally fine. So I just didn't know if that was something we even needed to do, or I just wanted to throw it out there. So
No, I think that's a very good question. And it looks to me as though we're going to get through 2021 pretty easily. There's not much left of 2021. And then we could confer with him about the slate for 2022. That sound okay, Julia?
Absolutely. I'm just taking notes. 1 second. Okay, now I know what to do. Okay. All right. And then the last part, I think I shared a flyer in the board packet. Arian and I have been very involved in several events that we're helping to put on to also raise the profile of our libraries. The next one that's coming is December 4th, and it's going to be a virtual event that we're collaborating with the Marina branch with, and we are bringing to you Javaka Steptoe, and you have the ability to make a little collage in the same style. So Javaka won Caldecott Award for his book Radiant Child. And that's the one that we're going to be reading. And one copy of the book is going to be given out to each participating household. So that's a little fun thing that's coming up. And the STEM event that we're working on now has a date as well. It's going to be March 5th of next year, and that's going to be in Greenfield. So that's also in the works. And I'll tell you more about it as we get closer. We just now were able to find a sponsor for that particular event, and now the actual planning happens with having some actual monies to spend. And that is my report for right now. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer. Sounds like, okay.
Thank you. I'm just excited about the December 4th event.
Oh, I know. Are you going to be there?
I would like to. Where's the information for the Zoom, for the link?
It's on the page. So it's this, if you look, I don't know if you can see it. Here's a bit.ly, and that actually is the sign up form. And then you'll get the Zoom.
Okay. I'll have to go there.
Yes, I know. I still actually have to sign up my kids, whether they like it or not, they're doing it. So.
Julia, were you going to have Arian speak at this point?
I was gonna, if there were no questions, I was actually gonna pass it over to Arian so that she can give her own report.
Excellent.
When Julia was like working on her report and stuff like that, I just wanted to make sure I had something that y'all knew, that I'm not just sitting around in the office. I just wanted to make sure that y'all kind of had a bigger idea of what I have been working on, because it is kind of like a lot of behind the scene things right now. So I also put my contact information just on the first page, just so if y'all have any questions or feedback about the stuff that I have been working on, please feel free to reach out. And I just want to really express how grateful I am for this opportunity. It's definitely been really fun to kind of activate different parts of my brain that I haven't been using for like the last couple of years, and just working on different projects. So I just want to thank everyone for that as well. As far as the things I worked on since our last board meeting, the biggest one is with the service learner students with CSUMB. We originally weren't going to take any, but we decided to pick up 5 instead. So it's been really good, definitely a learning curve, but it seems to be working out pretty well. By the end of the semester, we'll have a couple different projects, 2 of those being some database explainer videos, 6 graphics for the content calendar for our social media, 2 library ads, and 1 database for all the photos and videos for Julia to have for whenever she's coming together with different content and grants and stuff like that as well. Since it's towards the end of the semester, students are definitely, you can tell that they're a little bit panicked about trying to make sure they get all these materials in on time, but it seems like they're pretty much on track for it. And then as far as board orientation goes,
Yes.
I know I gave y'all a huge packet last time and I apologize for that. But one thing that I have been working on, and it's finished as well, is just trying to come up with a quick reference guide. So instead of like somebody getting like a 200-page document, they're only getting like 60 pages. So it's a little less intimidating, and probably a little bit easier to kind of actually go through. So I included the table of contents of the different things that were added into that. If y'all just want to look over those things and kind of figure out if it's relevant or not for a new board member. And this will be a really great way for us to figure out how our board orientation meeting is going to go. Which we decided on a general flow, like a new member would choose one of the library branches for us to hold these meetings, so that it'll be a great way for new orientation members to kind of see directly like how we do help the libraries. And also a great way if we could maybe get some of the librarians involved to see like, oh, wow, the foundation really does all this. We just think it'd be like a great opportunity to do that and kind of just make sure people know each other's faces and have like a name to them. And one of the things that I have been making for the quick reference guide was this fundraising infographic. This copy is kind of a little bit caught off. But food is one of my biggest passions, so I figured a food analogy would be kind of a good idea, comparing fundraising to a potluck. So the idea is that like a new board member would kind of see the different steps for for fundraising, and would choose like one item under each category to kind of walk through it. So we hope that that'll be like a really cool, easy way to make fundraising approachable for everyone. And then as far as outreach planning goes, the Salinas Chambers of Commerce reached out to Julie and I to participate in a holiday block party. It essentially seems like it is a fundraising opportunity for nonprofits. So each organization will hand out raffle tickets in exchange for like a $10 donation. So we thought that this would be a really great way to also get people to enroll and opt into our text reminders and newsletters. As well as also just get to know about the foundation a little bit more, and a fundraising opportunity, of course. And then the big thing I've also been working on is trying to create volunteer roles for Words and Wine. I do have some event planning experience from the restaurant I used to work at. And one thing I learned at like all these events and catering is that you want to have a lot of people doing like one simple task and trying to get like 3 or 4 people doing a lot. So I'm hoping to have these 14 different roles, so it'll be a little bit easier to like train people and just so it flows well. I know that seems like a lot, but I think that with planning ahead, we'll be able to reach that. As far as like people and organizations I've considered reaching out to just preliminarily is the Monterey County Community Builders, maybe the Steinbeck House. Is that what it's called, Julia?
Yeah.
The CSUMB Service Learning Institute, going on to volunteer match, and also the Middlebury Institute as well.
And I just got a new connection for you. I made a connection this weekend with the Kiwanis Club here in Marina, and they were already saying, we have books and we have volunteers. And so I'm like, yes, we want both.
And then as far as, I know that we don't meet up in December, so I want you all to know that I was still planning on doing things while Christmas coming around. So these are just basically the activities I'm planning on to doing from, I guess, until the next time we meet in January. A lot of it for the service learners is just trying to make sure that their time ending with the foundation is really well, so that they can feel supported and potentially continue to volunteer with us. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to raise some in-kind donations for the students, maybe like some gift cards and things, just so that they know that we appreciate the time that they put in. And, you know, we hope that they continue to work or serve along with us. The board orientation, I'm almost done with my slides. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, Louise, we will finally have an orientation for you. I'm so sorry it's been delayed. And Isha, and anyone else that would like to, I think would be like a really good refresher for everyone, and would really be great to get your feedback as well. Another big thing is trying to slowly upload all those board manual materials to Board Network, so that all those are available to everyone whenever they would like to see them. And then for the outreach planning, it's really just trying to get everything together for that holiday block party. So hopefully that'll go well. And then I think we're potentially doing one tomorrow as well. So
I know, right?
some last minute planning for that. And then if I have time left over, I'd like to start really diving deep into making sure volunteers for Words and Wines know exactly what roles they're going into. So then it's also to figure out what kind of volunteers and like where to find them for. And then on the last page, I just kind of did some of the screenshots of what the different service learners have been putting up together for us. So I think they turned out pretty well, and I'm very appreciative for them. Do you have any questions about anything? Sorry, I know that was a lot.
Sounds like you're busy.
Yeah, this is overwhelming how much you're doing. I didn't quite understand. You mentioned a 6-page quick reference.
60.
Oh, 16. Okay, and have we seen that? Has that been shared with us?
Not yet.
Okay,
So I
got it.
guess I would like to know, I guess, how everyone would like to receive it. Like, is that something I should put in an email so everyone can just look at their own leisure? Or should I try to upload it to Board Network?
I think email sounds good. Maybe both, you know, in Board Network and email.
Okay. I can get those probably to y'all definitely by tomorrow morning, if not by the end of the day.
That sounds great. Thanks.
Would you like a printout, or do you just not want it?
I'd rather have a printout.
Oh, okay. We get that, no problem. We have to stop by.
Are there other questions for Arian?
No
Thank you.
questions, but I just wanted to say I really appreciated all the work. I definitely got a kick out of seeing what the service learners were working on, but also really appreciated that menu recipe approach to fundraising. I thought that was really creative.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to second the motion on that. Yeah.
Can I third that motion?
Thank you.
Yay. Okay, if there are no more questions or comments for Arian, we'll move on to the librarian's report.
Okay, so I got this in really late, so Julia just emailed it to you close to 11 o'clock, and the email has all the details and lots of links. So follow the links in the email wherever you're interested. Just to hit the highlights, we have Librarian 3 open right now, and Librarian 3 is a regional manager. So they would manage a large branch and small satellite branches along with a system-wide service like a bookmobile. So we have that open for a month, and we anticipate filling 2 of them. Beata retired from Seaside, and Robin is retiring from King City at the end of the year. So we're looking for good candidates, and Librarian 2 is going to open right on its heels. So we're hiring, filling positions, including homework center coordinators. So tomorrow at the Board of Supervisors meeting, a revision to our fines and fees is going before the Board of Supervisors, including complete removal of all overdue fines. And it passed Budget Committee with lots of happiness, and both people on Budget Committee and a member of the audience told their stories about libraries and how important they were. I don't see this having an issue passing. It's just going to be a matter of, do they pull it off consent calendar to talk about it, or do they have any questions? So presuming this passes Board of Supervisors, it would go into effect in the new year, January 1st. So fingers crossed, Board of Supervisors. In the report is lots of reports from our work units and our branches. I just said, tell the foundation stuff. So we have winter reading program. We're in the middle of a grant called Stay and Play, which is kind of our first outdoor family programs. And they're aimed at those, Stay and Play is aimed specifically at what they call the FFNs, family, friend, and neighbor caregivers. So the child is in caregiving, but it's not formal caregiving. It's grandma or auntie or neighbors swapping childcare, and to empower those caregivers in early literacy and learning and helping children grow. And that's going on at Seaside. It's getting really good traction. There's updates on our MORE grant. We're getting some of our equipment. A great update from literacy. Sarah has a new employee, Perla, who she's really thrilled with. And we're looking to apply for more money from the state library. The Zip Books program, which you are familiar with, that we've had for many years, they used to centrally manage it. This year, they're just giving the money to the libraries, but it means we have to set up a whole other system to buy these books, because you have to buy them from Amazon, and they have to ship directly to the patron's house, which violates one of our purchasing things in the county, is having stuff shipped not to a county workplace. So we're working on setting up the accounting we need to participate in Zip Books, and we've requested our money. So fingers crossed on that as well. Lots of, yeah, go ahead.
Don't the Marina Friends have an Amazon seller account and might be able to help out with that if you could circumvent some of the bureaucracy?
Well, I think we can get exceptions to it. An exemption, because the grant clearly says, I just have to get the Amazon business account set up. And then we just got to climb through our process.
Yeah, it's a pain.
It's a pain, yeah.
You know,
we were very understanding that some of the grant money had to go to pay somebody else to do this, and I would have said keep doing that. But they're like, more books if we just give the money to the libraries. But now every library has to manage it on their own. So that's always a trade-off, right? So we're working on that. I've been having lots of facility work and facility meetings, including Supervisor Askew hosted a town hall for East Garrison residents, and they had lots of questions about their library. The answer being it's not built yet still, but they want library service and they want it now. So I think once we have our new North Bookmobile, you know, a more reliable vehicle on the road, I'm starting to go up there and see if I can find a spot that could be a bookmobile stop. And then they're working on the plans for East Garrison. Right now, the plan is that we would get a new building, but there's disagreement over who's responsible for building it. I don't think it's big enough. I don't think it's in the right place. So, but then another plan is, because there's also not enough money to build it, is do they rehab one of the historic buildings? And that would both move it, but a new built building and a historic building, those are two different kinds of libraries you need to build. So I'm not in love with that one either, but we're working in East Garrison, we're working in Gonzales. They're building their new community center, and they applied to the state to say we want to apply for some of that state money for the library portion. And I also put in a pre-application for some work in the Pajaro branch to the state money, but I'm not ready for a full application yet. I need like round 2 money. This is all covered in the report, and I included pictures and follow the links because there's lots of fun places to look at. And I apologize for not getting the report to Julia on Friday so you could get it with your packet, but take your time, read the details. and ask me any questions. Yeah, Julia.
Sorry, I
That's okay.
saw that you're looking at getting a new, I guess you call it integrated library service system or something.
Yeah.
So what's the, I heard that there's different systems out there. So which one are we going to?
We're going to a open source system called Koha, but managed by a company called Bywater Solutions. It's what Salinas has. It's what Monterey and Pacific Grove have. So it's basically the software is open source, but you hire this company to manage it for you because there's no way we're managing all that open source software ourselves.
Yeah.
And we looked at our current vendor, we looked at another full service vendor, the RFP process, a team scored all the RFPs, and migration in March. So we may have some downtime in March and some time we close to train everybody. And then after the migration costs, we're actually going to start saving money every year. Yeah, and it can do everything we need it to do. Some things better, some things a little more clunky, but that's always is with big pieces of software. You get some things better, you get some things a little more clunky, but overall you say this is the better way to go. Yeah.
I was just curious. I had heard, so.
Yeah, well, when I started, we were talking with all the neighboring libraries about becoming one catalog, one consortium, and this would have been the software would have used to do that. I, with working with Chris Amaral and Ray, eventually said, we don't want to be part of a consortium. We still want to be on our own. We're big enough on our own. We want to be able to make our own decisions. But using this software gets us an added advantage of, we can do, right now for an interlibrary loan, we use a separate piece of software we pay for to talk library to library. But all the libraries that use this software can talk directly to each other. So we can interlibrary loan directly from Salinas or Monterey or Pacific Grove without going through this whole other loop through a piece of software. It's got little advantages like that. Like I said, cheaper, ultimately, and fully robust, able to support what we need it to do. So your catalog, you'll get plenty of warning as library patrons when your catalog will look completely different, and we may potentially have some downtime. So,
okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions or comments for Hillary? Then let's move on to words and wine. Julia?
Words and wine. Okay. Erin and I are firing on all cylinders here for words and wine. Woo! Okay, so you have in your packet, so we just went last week, I forgot what day. We went to Palma again for a second time. Now that it's clear that we're going to have the event there, you will find two separate documents, and actually 3 separate documents. So once you're there, it makes sense. These drawings might not make too much sense right now. So we looked at the multi-purpose room, and actually, I'm just going to hold it up right now. That's this one. It has a state-of-the-art audio-visual already built in, which means we're saving that money that usually they charge us extra at the hotel. And this is the maximum number of tables that we could be putting in there. We will very likely have less. But we already have a pretty clear plan on how this should look like. So we've got the screen up here. We're going to put a stage up here where we're going to be able to have our speaker, and then later on the panel as well. People will be sitting around here. The entrance and the bathrooms are right over here. These orange tables will be the checkout tables at the end of the event, where we're going to have at least 3 checkout stations at once to try and eliminate as much push as possible. Check-in will actually be outside. So this is the outside area. And then there's like a gate that will keep open, and then it goes along a wing. And so this, it might not be very clear if you've never been there. The orange part is the wing. And so these tables that you see are like little cocktail tables that we're going to have along there, nicely spaced out. So the whole reception part will all be outside. And there's room for a bar. The bar is going to be actually over here. There's like a little overhang. And then the pink part is where the silent auction tables are going to be. So lots of space for people to wander and have conversations, you know, within distance, no matter how things are looking. And then the exciting part is, this might not be as clear to you, but actually I got the two papers confused, but we looked at this whole setup as well and said, okay, worst case scenario, we can't do anything inside, we're gonna have to do everything outside. How will we do it here? And we did come up with a plan. It would be a little bit of a different setup. We wouldn't have a sit-down dinner. It would turn into some more of a strolling event, but they do have, because they have several of these wings and then there's grass in between, and these wings have, they're covered along where the doors are. So you could have then separate stations out there where people could then walk along and, you know, possibly pick up some food to then sit in their little space on the lawn. And so there's definitely not as fully developed yet of a plan, because we are thinking positive that we are able to have something indoors, but we are keeping that contingency plan up and running so that if we need to activate it, already there. So that's the biggest update.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So what about people, and I mean, who knows, that may not feel comfortable going indoors or in confined spaces? Would they have the flexibility to, say, sit outside, or is the outside going to be like a last resort, or is it going to be like a hybrid of the two? Are we going to have the flexibility to have inside, outside, depending on people's preferences? If they want to go in, do they want to stay out in the outdoors because they may feel safer? I don't know.
Good question. I mean, right now, the planning that I'm doing is based on the idea of having the usual setup for our event, which is based on having a sit-down dinner and creating a certain atmosphere, while I am definitely foreseeing that we'll just keep all the doors open and they have a air circulating purifier thingamajiggy in there. I don't yet know if we would be able to create the same atmosphere if people didn't want to come inside. One of the things that we could look into, but I am not tech savvy enough to be honest, is whether we could stream it, so that if people truly did not feel comfortable, that we had the events streamed. And so they could completely participate from home. They could then maybe pick up a little, you know, food care packet, but then could bid online. I'm definitely planning on having the items there, but the actual bidding to be happening on people's, you know, iPads, cell phones, whatever. But they can see the items and take a look at that. But that way we don't have to worry about shared pens and that kind of stuff. So someone who wanted to participate but not in person could essentially do that from afar. I just don't know how to like set up the whole filming part, to be honest. So that if any of you feel very interested in that, maybe you might be able to help me figure out some contacts there and we can get a quote. I have no idea how much that costs.
I think at least setting up streaming shouldn't be too tough, actually. But Nancy, isn't there, or someone mentioned that there was a man who worked at MPC who had done a bunch of online events?
Ooh.
We might be able to contact him and at least say, hey, we want to do this. We want to have a backup stream planned, and just.
I'm not sure who that was.
No, I can't remember who it is.
Are you the library person at MPC you mentioned?
I don't think that I mentioned.
Oh, is that when we were doing the drive-in or drive-through? We were thinking about having the giant screen, or this is way back, right?
No.
This
was,
yeah,
I
can't.
want to say, Nancy, you mentioned that there was someone at MPC who had been running events, maybe not necessarily fundraisers, but events that were now.
Oh, well, yeah, there is a man named Henry Marchand who he brings in well-known authors, and they've done that as Zoom. But I think that doesn't address what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's different.
He's very successful at that, but it's not what we're talking about.
I
Yeah.
think step one though would be figuring out a stream anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, and I know my mother also with the CLA and Hayward and stuff have done some Zoom stuff as well. So I could probably contact her
That'd be cool.
and see if she has any thoughts or anything like that.
I also wonder if any other board members have attended events where you could bid on auction items online, if there are any tips about that. And Julia, you sound as though you feel pretty confident you can do that, but you know, any tips might be good as well.
I've done that with,
Yeah, go ahead.
this is Lynette. I've done that with several dinners, and what they usually do is they send it out at least a week in advance, and people get really, you know, a little competitive going back and forth. So that way, when you get to the event, some of the items are either closed or still being bid out, but they give you a good time beforehand that people can do it online before they even get to the event.
That sounds great. Of course, that requires us to get everything together early, but it sounds like the benefits could be huge.
Yeah, because they give you a picture and a description, just basically what you would see on the tables as well. And then when you get there, they still have the items on the table, so you can continue the bidding. And then they'll give you the site and, you know, that you can actually bid from your table instead. Because some people, you know, they want to stay in the event and not get up and go back to the silent auction table. They can actually still do their bidding from their actual dinner table.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it sounds like also if there's someone watching the streaming, they can also bid, like someone who's not in the room. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit like we can set up the stream and the bidding sort of separately then, so that the bidding is through one website and the stream is just like standard Zoom type thing. We just have to have someone running a camera, and you can set up Zoom so it only has one video, one audio feed, you know.
Okay.
Which might be another volunteer we have to put on our list.
Right.
Yep, I mean, we did have the option in prior years, we just haven't used it to actually have online bidding. But because I've used this type of software before, I definitely feel very confident that we can set this up. It's not a problem. We actually did have it up on the website before. It was just never so, you know, such a big deal. And now we can push it more and make sure that it all looks nice and polished. So yeah, that part I feel very confident about.
We can have a volunteer with a GoPro on their forehead. They can just walk around.
Oh, are you volunteering?
No, I'm not.
Funny.
That would be great for a service learner.
So in addition, since we are working hard on getting this moving, I thought we get into the meat and gravy here. And I have a little list of things that I wanted to discuss with you that are in the packet. So do we want to have a band again?
Sure. I don't know. How do other people feel? I always think it's nice. How do the rest of you feel?
And I mean, the band that we had did not sing, so there's not so much to worry about, you know, spillage. And we already have planned on having them be outside, so they would not be indoors. So should we contact the band that we've worked with in prior years, Jesse Borges and his teammates, his bandmates?
Sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's,
Okay.
it's always nice to have music.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're really good.
I
They're a
agree.
lot of fun.
Agreed. Okay, next one is photographer. We obviously want to make sure we get some pictures. I don't know if we should look in, now that we're talking about streaming the event, if we should look into a photographer slash videographer, or if those are two separate ones. We've used Richard Green in the past for the photography, so we could try and reach out to him, but I have no idea who to reach out to for videography. You think Richard? I don't know. Sherry, you know Richard, right? Does he do?
Yeah,
videos?
yeah, I do. Yeah. I think he might do videos also. I'll contact him to see if he does videos and photography and get back to you.
Okay, awesome. And I mean, now that we have the date, it's easy to tell people and they can already put it on their calendar. And then obviously one of the important things that we want to make sure that we convey as we come up with the event is that we let people know that we are taking COVID precautions. And I just wanted to see if you have any ideas in terms of messaging of how we should say this. My sense is that it would make sense to ask our guests to be fully vaccinated or to show that they've had a negative COVID test within the last 72 hours, which I think is what is also the standard for.
Yeah, and I was thinking that shouldn't this event and any event that we sponsor be subject to this policy that we haven't adopted yet about COVID? In other words, I thought we were discussing having a general policy for any foundation event. And so, not that I mean, I don't see the policy being put in the invitation. In fact, I suspect that it would come down to just what you're saying, Julia. On the other hand, I was hoping that we were going to revisit that policy, and so that we could actually say that we as an organization have a policy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I guess I should have brought all the papers back from last time. I didn't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, we can do that going forward, but I would hope that we would take our guidance for this event and any other event from our policy, which we haven't adopted yet. So that's why I don't, at least in my mind, I wouldn't want to decide it right now. I would want to get back to the policy and then apply the policy to the event.
Got it. Would you like me then to send out this policy with the changes that I made after the last meeting, where I kind of borrowed the language that the Sunset Center is using, saying if you are coming to an event here, you have to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test within the last 72 hours. And
sure, that sounds great. I mean, you know,
just documents to you in terms of, you know, all the different things that I listed last time. And then we can do a email poll.
Sounds fun. Well, that, or we can bring it up at another board meeting, you know, because it may be that people will want to discuss it or not, or maybe it'll be a real non-issue. In fact, you could send it out an email and just say, do you want to just tell me what you think? Do you think we need to discuss it at a board meeting?
Is there, I don't know the answer to this, but are there state or county requirements when you have, say, 20 plus people inside a room? I mean, are there certain guidelines? Like Sunset, they must be adhering to protocol. Is there county protocol?
Yeah, Hillary's talked to us about that in the past. I don't know, is she still here? Are you still here?
Yeah. The only new thing is the county mask mandate did go into effect, which basically would mask you in the lobby and anywhere you weren't eating or drinking. Now, that's only 30 days triggered upon how the virus is doing. So that could be in, out, we won't know. Sitting down and eating is still okay. So, but that's the only new thing, county and statewide, that I think would impact our event indoors.
Right, and so
I don't think we're at the size of a suit. There's like thresholds for mega events, and I don't think we're near that size.
No, that's 10,000 people. If we were,
it's not a concert, right? We're not there.
I'd be like, we would be rolling in the dough.
Yeah. I think that the other thresholds that trigger other stuff are that big. So.
Okay.
And so rather than putting something specific, I would hope that our document might talk about these thresholds. And so that we're not saying, here's what we're going to do, because we won't know in any given time what the county will say. So, but referencing wherever it is that the county gives us guidance in this document, I think would be a good idea.
Okay.
I think that gives us a lot of flexibility too, to just keep saying like, what's the county doing, especially as we get closer to the event, so we can finally be like, well, these are the changes that are happening, and we have a very easy reference guide for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I will make sure that I put that all into that draft and send it out. Nancy, maybe I'll send it to you first to make sure that all the different pieces are in there, that I understand them correctly, and then we'll send it out via email for a poll so that we can adopt it and have it ready to go.
That sounds great.
Good. Okay.
You know, I just went to an event Saturday night where nobody kicked anything. There were 250 people.
Oh, wow.
And there was a lobby for cocktails and visiting, and then we went in to sit down dinner.
Okay.
So,
Different organizations do it differently, I
Yeah.
think, I guess.
and
Wow.
this was in a hotel.
This was in a hotel. Wow. Well, I hope they have the air fresh and cleaning stuff flowing. So. I also wanted to sort of get some ideas on what we should do for silent auction items so that you guys know what to get and contribute to the event. So I remember I looked through some of our previous notes, and it said that naming a character in a future book of Malcolm's could be maybe something that we could auction off. I can find out if that would be a possible auction item. Are there any other ideas of what we should look into?
I was ironically, Alvarado Street Brewery is mentioned in here, but Alan used to work at the bistro and we're quite good friends with some of the managers and the owner. So I was going to potentially reach out to JC and see if he wanted to pitch in anything, even if it's just some beer, but maybe he'd want to do more or something. He's a pretty nice guy.
That's cool.
They're also my clients.
Oh, we'll strong arm him, Sherry.
Thank you.
So we're
You
both.
want
we're
that
both
PPP
strong.
loan, you know what you have to do. No, just kidding.
You at your end and me at my end.
Well, then, Sherry, do you want to reach out to them or should I reach out? Because I
It's
can.
however you feel. It's. I have no problem, but if you want to, that's totally fine with me. You
Okay, I'll reach out, but I might name drop you.
know? Yeah. Tell them Sherry from Pinnacle Bank.
Sherry from Pinnacle Bank.
But they know that. Yeah. Sherry and another one say Sherry and JT from Pinnacle Bank.
And JT, all right, cool.
Thank you.
Should we think about some football themed items, since this is a former football player that is coming, or is that a overkill?
I don't think so. I think it's always good.
Mhm.
You know, especially having it with Dom in there and Malcolm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We could see if Malcolm Mitchell wants to do something like sign a football and auction that off, or sign a book and auction. Well, I guess signing books, but like sign a football or have some paraphernalia.
Yeah, or that could be an amazing basket, or it could be separate items.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought I'd get your juices flowing in terms of different ideas.
I think that just getting, at this event, they had 10 live auction items.
Wow.
There was no silent auction.
Okay.
So this is something to think about too.
Whether we want to only have live auction items?
Depending on how things are.
Live auction items. I guess I don't really know what would be good live auction items. It's usually trips, right, and experiences that go well for live auctions.
Nothing went for what they were expecting.
Did it go for more or for less?
A little less.
A little less. It still helped.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I always get these catalogs of these vacation deals that we could look into.
Yeah, that's always good.
I can scan them in so that you can take a look at them. Luckily, we have lots of time, so we can make a decision on whether, you know, this sounds interesting or not. Okay, I'll make sure I'll scan those in. All right, and then I have a meeting on the books with Buck Rogerman, and I'm gonna reach out to Drea Blackwell. I'm just fine tuning my little email pitch to her, and her aunt owns this pub, so I was gonna just kind of, you know, say hi, let her know about this. And I'll also be reaching out to Ron Johnson at the Boys and Girls Club this week. So I'm also working on an email there, but yeah.
That sounds great. Do we have somebody who knows Ron? Do you have any entree there?
I thought I did. I asked my contact at Chevron if she could do an email introduction, and she said yes, but it didn't materialize. And now I feel weird about having to bug her again. And so now I'm just like, I'm just going to reach out. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay. Yeah, good luck. I hope, because it seems
know.
like if you got all those people on your list, that would be really cool.
That would be amazing.
Blackwell, Buck Rogerman, and Ron Johnson. Yeah.
And Arian and I actually, on Friday, we took a drive through Seaside and kind of like stalked the Boys and Girls Club where it's located. And they have this amazing newly renovated field right behind the Boys and Girls Club. So if we were able to set up the event there, it would be, I mean, we would have so many kids. It would be such an amazing setup for the youth part of the event. I think we would be very successful. So, I'll see what I can do.
Somebody else who's a local luminary, but I don't think he's ever here anymore. Maybe the rest of you can help me with this. Is Herman Edwards? You guys know who Herman Edwards is?
Yeah, Gail mentions him a lot.
Yeah, so I have no, wherever he's coaching now, he's not here, right? But I mean, that would be really cool.
Florida, yeah.
If for any reason we could, I don't know if there's any way to get him, but just a thought.
I know that would be amazing, but for those you need it sort of like direct in, right? If you have like a friend who can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Herb, guess what?"
You know what? You could ask Buck Rogerman for advice about that. Now, I don't think he ever. I mean, Buck Rogerman was never at my, like here on the peninsula when Herman Edwards was, but I don't know. I'd ask him anyway. Just say, can you give me any advice? If you got, any pull anyway, we might get Herman Edwards here. I mean, for that matter, you ask all three of those people, right? Buck, Drea, and Ron. Who knows? Maybe Drea's interviewed him.
We'll see. We'll see if I can get. I can't promise anything. I'll definitely.
Well, of course,
reach out.
I think it's worth, just posing the question, and then if you don't get anything, then move on.
Yes. And I think that's all I have for Words and Wine. It was.
All right. Well, that was lots. Any questions or comments for Julie about Words and Wine? Okay, then tell us about the holiday party. I think that's next.
Is that the next thing? Okay. Yes. So I polled all of you, and thank you to those of you who responded. So right now, Tarpies is in the lead, and just wanted to double check with you. I think I picked two different locations that have have an outside patio where we could sit, because I wanted to make sure that Hillary can join us, and when she's on work time, she has to follow county guidelines. We have different health needs and all that good stuff. So if we were to hold the event at Tarpies, should we use our same policy as we just discussed of having either a full vaccination or a 72-hour negative COVID test, or how should we go about that?
Yeah, I would be in favor of that. I don't know how other people feel.
Is this for our lunch?
Yeah, that's for the luncheon.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
I'm okay with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific date?
I carry my vaccination card with me everywhere.
I know, mine's also in my
I do
so
too.
that'll be easy.
Yeah, I'd say card or a test sounds fine.
So should I book it for like a Monday or a Tuesday early in December? Should we look at, let me just pull up here the calendar. December. Okay, so maybe, so December 6th is a Monday, December 7th is a Tuesday. Does that week sound good?
Yeah, probably before it gets too crazy.
That's
right?
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We could even look at, even earlier, we could look at Friday the 3rd.
Not for me.
Not for you? Okay.
No, not for me.
No.
No.
Not for me either. I already
Okay,
have some
no
plans.
Friday the 3rd. Got it. Okay. Tuesday the 2nd. I'm just kind of testing different things here.
Mm-mm.
No, not Tuesday, Thursday. Okay,
I
so
think Monday or Tuesday is good for me.
Monday, Tuesday is good? Okay.
Yeah, Thursday's not.
Oh, how
good.
about the 6th or the 7th?
Okay, so then I will, since I think we had one more vote for Tarpies. Then I'm gonna call Tarpies and find out if we can have a patio space for 12 on the 6th or the 7th for lunch.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Yeah, sounds
And
good.
then everyone just bring your vaccination cards or negative COVID test results within the last 72 hours. Tarpies, 6th or 7th of December. Okay, and I will get on that as quickly as possible so that we can have it firmly on the calendar.
And it's with 12 of us.
Yeah, I think I'll do it for 12. I think we're 12 or 11, 12.
Okay. And every year we've done a little gift exchange. Are we gonna?
Oh, gift exchange. Are we doing a
Forget
gift
that?
exchange?
Let's
That's a
just
good
forget it.
question. I think this will be the first time we're all going to be together. That to me, that was the gift.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we could do one of those things where you just bring one gift and you know, that then, I don't know, you just pass them all around. And then you could bring a card or something else if you wanted to, or do you feel like you want to bring a gift for everyone? Different gifts.
I always love the white elephant part, but what do you think, Nancy?
Well,
I think just one, I think if one of us all bring a gift and then we can all do like a white elephant thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But one gift is good.
Sounds
yeah.
good.
And then put them all.
I got too many parties to go to.
That's what I figured. Party girl.
Nice. Okay. Nancy Osonia here has already got the plan down on how this is going to work. She's going to run it.
We each bring
So
one
we're still
gift.
gonna do one, did we decide on one gift then?
We put
Yeah,
them
I think
on the
so.
table, and everybody that brings the one gift, it gets a number that corresponds to a number on the table of the gifts.
Yeah, like a white elephant. Yeah, that's perfect.
But it's not necessarily a white elephant. Make it something that's.
And can you steal? Can we steal
Right.
each other's gifts once?
Okay, maybe once or twice.
Once or twice?
Yeah,
Ooh, this
yeah.
is gonna be fun.
Absolutely.
Okay,
That sounds fun.
okay, it is happening. All right, I have it written down and you will get a firm something this week. If Tarpies is not able to accommodate us on the 6th or the 7th, do I have your permission to try and set it up at Stoney's outside instead? That way we can, you know, we have the sort of like the date sort of clear, but you know, if one place doesn't have outside space that day, then we'll go to the other.
Sony's great for me.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Fine.
Oh yeah, Sherry's around the corner. She can walk.
Yeah. I can walk across the street. I can have a glass of wine and walk.
That's a girl. All right. Yes, we have it figured out.
All right, well then let's move on to the MC Gives campaign, which you've mentioned, but was there anything you wanted to add, Julia?
I just wanted to quickly share, it's going to pop up here on the screen in just a second. I just wanted to share with you the website so that you can see it. So ours is montereycountygives.com/FMCFL, and then it pulls up this lovely website here. And thank you to Nisha and Ron and Sherry, who have already participated in this campaign. So thank you very much. And I encourage all of you to make your annual gift through this and to possibly invite your friends and family. I mean, you can make donations as low as $5. So that's cool. And here we are. So this is how it looks like. And you can also share it. And hopefully we'll be able to get the same great result as we got last year. So I just wanted to make sure all of you knew how the website looked like. So this is it.
That looks great, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, then I will stop sharing. Here we
Oh, I
go.
like the countdown there.
Okay, so it looks like we have some new business, and the first item is the board meeting calendar. Is that what we have in our packet, Julia?
It is, and so I already just kind of got it ready, but if you are not happy with the dates, then I will make a new version. But what you see in there is that for January and February, our meetings are moved to the fourth Monday of the month, because the third Monday in both months is a holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And then we revert back to our regular schedule in March, where it is the third Monday. And then I think I added in there for November, I'm anticipating that this next year Philanthropy Day is going to happen. That's usually something where we like to go and have a table. So it's just already in there for planning purposes. Of course, there's no words and wine in there yet because we don't know what the schedule is going to be for that. But I tried to make it look pretty and library themed so that you can stick it on the fridge. So if you're okay with those dates, feel free to use this calendar. If not, please let me know which changes you would like me to make, and then I can send a revised version.
I think it looks great. Love the image.
That's good.
Yeah,
Good
so
for now.
sounds like you guys are okay with January and February being
Yeah,
different from the other months because of the holidays.
That's right.
Okay,
Done that.
Yeah, nice branchlet too.
I know, right? It's such a cute little picture.
Yeah, it's a good one. And virtual arts event, you have already
I've
told us.
already shared
that
it, so
well.
it's just.
And the image is great. And so I'm wondering now if there's any more business for today's meeting.
Not from my part. If you have any open items or questions, then now's the time.
Just kind of randomly, it's nothing important or anything, but if we want to get a speaker either virtually or for like an event or something like that, I know the Hayward Public Library is willing to collaborate to bring speakers to the area.
Oh, you know someone there.
Yeah, I do know someone there.
That's fun.
I also will tell you, my mother and I have a running document of potential speakers going, and it's a very long list, and it includes a lot of really cool names. Some of them she's worked with, some of them she's trying to get. So, but if we ever get a speaker that seems really interesting and we want and they want, and maybe they're a little bit out of our budget or something, we can always reach out to the director of the Hayward Public Library.
It is so cool.
That
In
sounds
Spanish,
great,
that's called
Misha.
enchufe, right, Luis? At least in Spain Spanish, that's called an enchufe. You have like an in.
Well, Misha, I think that you should bring this item up at every board meeting just to remind us of it. And hopefully then we'll take you up on it.
Okay.
My only request for the next speaker is that it be a female, because the last female speaker that we had was in 2017. And so I feel like it's time to bring a female speaker back to just kind of keep it even.
Yeah, this list is half women. It's super diverse. We have like trans, gender non-conforming people from all sorts of backgrounds. Some of them aren't authors, so I don't know that they fit for Words and Wine, but like when we get there, I'm happy to bring up this list and share some names or whatever. And if we have any other events we want to do, I will strong arm my mother.
Yes. You know, now I'm seriously suggesting that at every board meeting, you give us some little tidbit, you know, whether it's 5 people that you're thinking about that you and your mom think would be cool, just so that it stays in our consciousness, because I think it's a great idea and I don't want it to slip away.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And you can also always suggest people to me and I can add them to the list as well if there's anyone interesting. Especially because I can get a little big for my britches and put some big names on there.
So this might not be a big name, but it might. So I'm always trying to think of speakers that help us highlight all the different things that we do throughout the libraries and in different ways. So this year we have a speaker that's going to combine sports and reading. And with this arts event, there's going to be collage making, and there's the plan of in the future turning it into some of these collages into animations. And so there was a recent article in the one of the local newspapers, I want to say the Herald, about a local author who grew up in Hollywood, and she's the daughter of someone who was doing stuff in Hollywood, and she's very much connected to graphic design and animation and Disney. So that could be something interesting, because I'm trying to think of, that could be an easy one to spin off a youth event for, and turn it into like a fun adult, sort of like immersive experience. I'm already thinking, we could bring the 3D stuff that the libraries have to like see stuff, and then have a kids event where maybe there's some drawing and animation on the, I don't know. So just an idea.
Do you know what?
Or graphic novels. I don't know if that qualifies.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Like superheroes on, you go to the movie theater now, and it's everywhere. So I don't know. I don't know any, graphic novel artists, but it's maybe down the road. Who knows?
Yeah. Do you remember this person's name, Julia?
We have an article in the office, and I can
just
send it to you. I was actually trying to see if I could, scoop her out, because she's apparently doing author reading, I want to say, and at the downtown bookshop in Salinas on the 27th in the afternoon. And so I was thinking maybe dropping by and just kind of, looking and seeing if I like her.
That's a good idea. Yeah. If you like her too, just let me know and I can put her on this list if you want.
If she, if she passes.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yes, if she passes. But I'm happy to also like do this like a weekly thing, just let you know of the interesting people. And even if they're too big, they might inspire something else. So I'm happy, because it's actually a really fun list. And we have a lot of wrestlers on the list, actually.
Tanisha, is Robin Wall Kimmerer, who wrote Braiding Sweetgrass, is she on your list?
I do not believe so.
Okay, well, you and your mom might just see whether or not you think she's a good idea. Braiding.
What was her full name again?
Robin Wall Kimmerer with a K.
Kimmer.
Like Kimmerer, I think.
Cool. I'll look her up and I'll put all her information in the document. So I'll hopefully get the correct spelling if it's available.
Right. Well, this terrible habit of just picking the people I want to meet rather than the people that I think would necessarily make for a great program, but she might make for a great program also.
Yeah. Awesome.
Fun. Yeah, I think there should be a standing thing that every board meeting you should bring up a name, and maybe just put that in front of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or a few names. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the meeting is adjourned, and anybody who wants to stick around and chat some more is welcome to do that, I would imagine.
I gotta go. Nice to hear from everybody.
I
Bye.
gotta go too. Bye, everyone. Have a good week.
A long meeting.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff done.
I will tell you, my mom is trying to get this really big, really famous wrestler who's also an author, Mick Foley.
Really?
Oh, look
Yeah.
at it.
That's crazy.
She really wants to get Mick Foley, and he's really big. Like, I think if we could get in on this, he might be someone who would like lower his fees or waive his fees for libraries and stuff like that. He's very giving, but he's on my list, so that would be a good one. But there's a lot of cool people on this list, so put me on the agenda and I will try to remember to pick out a name or two for next week.
That sounds great. Now you have to look for a woman wrestler, I think. Yeah.
I have a woman wrestler. There's
Okay,
AJ
good.
Lee.
Yeah.
She's an author. She's worked with DC
Excellent.
Comics, and she's written like autobiographies on the treatment of women in wrestling and all sorts of stuff.
There
Her
you
husband
go.
is super popuper right now. She's a retired wrestler, but yeah, no, I have,
Okay with that.
yeah. She might be good to get, Arian, you might know, well, she's AJ Lee. Yeah, she's AJ Mendez now, but she was AJ Lee. So she's pretty big.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Very cool.
Very different.
and it would pull a different group. Yeah. Yeah, that's what, I mean, that was one thing my mother was like, hey, I want to pull in different groups. And that's why she was looking at like Mick Foley, is because he would actually probably like appeal to men who are generally not in the library as much as women. So anyway, it's a cool list. Just wanted to share that, and I'll be happy to update all of you.
That sounds great, Nisha. I look forward to hearing that in every board meeting.
Awesome. Hopefully my list keeps growing.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
All right.
Okay.
I'll see you all later.
Okay.
right.
Bye, Nisha.
Bye.
Everybody, bye.
All right.
Bye. I'm going to miss the lunchtime with you. Bye.
Oh, okay. Talk to you later. Okay, bye. And we're gonna turn this off.